So today we've got quite an interesting one for you. We have got the Audi A8 SE Executive.
That's it.
With a V6 diesel engine. And this thing's interesting for two reasons. One, you never see these things reviewed, ever. I think I've seen one once on Top Gear, have you? And that was when he did that economy run. That was the big engine.
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago.
And other than that, I've never seen one reviewed. The other reason it's interesting is because what do you drive every day as your daily driver, Ollie?
I've got an S8.
He drives an S8, previous shape to this though. So he can't give too much of an impartial opinion, and that's why I'm here. So, well, you can see the looks of the thing. It's quite striking. Looks like an Audi.
Yeah, very.
Very Audi-ish.
Big and German.
So inside, standard Audi stuff really, it's alright. Not got the flat bottom steering wheel, but it's quite depressing and grey in here. Really depressing and grey. One thing I do like is the screen. Now the screen pops out, as you'd expect, which I like. There's a lot of the new cars, like the Mercedes and things, where it's just bolted on. Looks like it should fold away and doesn't, but this one does. But when you do fold it away, you expect that to all be wood and nice, but you're left with this little metal thing, and it looks like one of those cheap Kenwood radios you used to get from Halfords in the 90s, and when you press it, pops out with a really crap low resolution screen. So I don't like that very much. I don't get the gear knob. I don't understand why it's that shape, or even why it's there. Why aren't there just buttons? You've got the paddles up here for changing. You don't need that. I don't understand it. But the biggest bugbear of all that I have is the trackpad down here. And the trackpad's used to enter letters and things into the sat-nav, which is a great idea. But when you think most of the people in the world are right-handed, this is a right-hand drive car, that's on the wrong side. I can't write anything with my left hand. I can't work it. Now, I'm sure if it's left-hand drive and the pad was here and I was using it on this side, that'd be perfect. But I just don't get it. But the worst thing for me is the clock. The clock is not posh enough. It looks like it should have been posh, but they couldn't get the deal done, and now it's not posh. Ollie thinks it looks like one of those little travel clocks that your nan used to have when she went on holiday, you know, in the little fold-up leather thing, and it pops up and goes on the nightstand. And he's right, that's exactly what it looks like.
I'm going to demonstrate the sat-nav that Jonathan's got a problem with. Got a Google phone here, Android phone. We just say, OK Google, navigate to Edinburgh.
Navigating to Edinburgh, UK.
That took about 5 seconds. We do it on the car.
Navigation. GPS signal lost.
Navigate to Edinburgh.
East on Richmond Road.
Pardon?
Navigate to Edinburgh.
There are no contacts in the directory.
It's useless. So we'll do it with the touchpad. What's the postcode for Edinburgh? We'll dial in E. It is difficult. It's difficult doing it with my left hand, to be honest. What would be good if the touchpad was down here on the right hand side for the right hand drive market. It's taking a lot longer than it should do. Well, it works just, but it takes a lot longer than it should. I'm sitting in the back of the A8 now, and I must say that the legroom is pretty good actually. That front seat is quite a way back. I've still got room to stretch my legs. This is the short version as well. The long one has about 8 inches longer in the footwell. It's nice, it's got tinted glass, it's nice and light and airy. I've got a tunnel that comes down in the middle, big armrest basically, which is the third seat. There is an option on this car for a central tunnel. I think it's a few grand, but I don't really see why you need that. This is more than adequate. Got loads of storage space, there's a ski hatch. Brilliant, I'm impressed. behind the wheel now, and this is all familiar to me. Everything is just an updated version of the car from 10 years ago, really. Drives pretty well, and in the MMI here, we've got endless settings for the gearbox, the steering, the suspension, so you can tune it to how you want it. And there's also an efficiency mode which has start-stop, which is just nonsense, but most cars now have it. So there's all these modes in the MMI for efficiency. I think what that does is just mute the throttle input slightly, soften the suspension up and make the gearbox a bit more soggy, really. And in the central display there's options for, well, displays really for the efficiency program, which shows you what's sucking the most power, really. So there's some seat heater on the rear screen, it tells you what it's using. Utterly pointless, you've got a V6. Does handle well. Thanks to Quattro.
I like the idea of Quattro. I used to be against it, as you know. I quite like Quattro now.
Hard to find an Audi without it. Yeah.
I think that it just gives you that security, doesn't it? If you hit a patch of ice or some water, you're laughing.
Especially in snow. I towed a DHL van out of the snow last week, so although it's got all this eco-efficiency crap, it does pull well, and I think this would be perfect for cruising through France or to Germany or something.
It's a diesel!
But it's smooth.
How can it possibly be perfect for that?
It's a big engine diesel car.
It's
a great big German car. It's perfect for cruising the motorways.
Is for the person who is national sales manager for a printer ink company, or
a national sales manager who's reached the top of his game.
We're going past B&Q, right? This is the kind of car that the national sales manager of B&Q would cream his company car budget to have.
I admire him.
It's not cool. Would you have this diesel instead of your 5 litre V10?
Of course I wouldn't. Of course I wouldn't, no. I'd have the new S8, but not this
Have
one.
they done an S8 of this?
Yeah.
What engines are that?
That's the same as in the Bentley, 4 litre.
Oh, the V8 twin turbo, yeah.
Which is bloody quick.
So that was our little test drive of the Audi, really. It's alright. We're standing here with Ollie's now because he misses it so much. So yesterday, because I knew we were driving this Audi today, I borrowed the S-Class, an equivalent diesel version of the S-Class. And I've previously owned a 7 Series, and Ollie's owned every car going. So what do you think of the Audi?
Middle of the road, really. Prefer it over an S-Class, the 7 Series. But the S-Class is the one to have.
The 7 Series is really boring now, isn't it?
It is,
It's
yeah.
just dull.
Doesn't appeal to me at all, really, the
It's
new
just
one.
dull. But the S-Class has always been the daddy of these kind of cars. So would you have that over an S-Class, that Audi?
No. I
No,
don't think I
you'd
would.
have the S-Class.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What about if we brought in a Jag XJ? Would you have that?
Still an S-Class, I think, for me.
I'd have the XJ.